What's up, everybody? Hey, it's Imperial Beach Dad. It's time to give you guys just an update on my brain tumor, cancer situation, and just fill you in on some stuff. I will warn you that I literally was just on Facebook on our prayer page putting up a prayer flare of just like, guys, pray for me. I'm on the edge. I was kind of just right on the edge of a nervous breakdown, and so I may start crying and go like hashtag full menopause at any moment, or this might really cheer me up. It often does. So I want to tell you about this week. First of all, it was a great week. Honestly, it's crazy that I had the worst day that I've had since the Caesars, since this whole thing began, and yet I still had the best week ever. So I'll start with the best week ever part and then circle back. And I know I wander and my brain kind of gets confused, so bear with me here. But best week ever because I might cry just thinking about it. Two of my best friends in the whole world, Jesse and Allie, they came to visit me from the East Coast, and these are neighbors of mine from the boat. When we lived on the boat, they had a boat nearby, and we were the only people that were like old. We were just in our 30s and 20s at the time, Ethan, I think, living on the boat, and we became great friends real fast. Like the kind of thing, it's hard to explain boat life because everybody like spends all their time outdoors and you have to walk to and from your car, and so it's like 50s Americana where everybody was on their front porch just hanging out, and so it was very often that you'd just be walking by and stop by for a beer or hang out and play games. So we had probably a game night and 2 dinner nights a week, and really close friends of ours before we had kids and life was simple, and just some of our best friends in the whole world, and they've been hanging out with us for a couple days, and it was so fun. Just like forget about everything for a while and remember how good life used to be. And Jesse helped me build my treehouse, and it was awesome. We just had the best time ever. And Saturday, Kevin came over and helped me work on the Mustang. I'm in my Mustang right now. Check it out. It's so cool. And he took time off work. We're going to go on a road trip on Friday and Saturday with the guys from Roadkill, and this car's going to be a car show. It's going to be awesome. So I've had a fantastic week. I really have. Just the best ever. But today I'm having a little bit of a nervous breakdown. I don't know if it's all just catching up with me or what, but let's rewind a couple weeks, okay? So I had put on there that like, whoa, chemo appointment did not go well. Let me tell you what happened in the chemo appointment. It was kind of like, I'm a depressed chemo doctor. This is the end of the road. We're going to do our best to keep you alive, but don't get your hopes up. We're going to kill the tumor, but there's no way to shrink it. Your body doesn't have a way to flush tumors out, so it's always going to be there. You're going to be affected forever. And it was like, whoa, like, what? That's not what we've been talking about. We've been talking about healing me and getting better. And so that was like just unexpected, and honestly didn't freak us out because the guy was just kind of weird about it. He's like, oh, by the way, bank some sperm because you're going to be sterile forever. And I was like, what? I'm not ready for that. And he wanted to do different chemo than we were prepared for. And then I'd kind of researched and thought we were going to be doing. And so it was just weird. He's like, yeah, this is the high grade. This is the good stuff that we do for the high grade tumors. I'm like, but I have a low grade tumor. Why would we do that? And it's like, don't you want the good stuff? And it was just really weird. So just number one, that doctor wasn't the right one for us. So that was clear. But he also brought up some things that I was like, wait, I thought we were shrinking this tumor so that I would get back to normal, because the reason I'm not normal is because this tumor is pushing on things and causing my brain to freak out. And so we had all these questions to go back to the radiologist. One, can we do radiology without chemotherapy? Because just we were uncomfortable with it. And two, the goal is to shrink this, right? And so this, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I forget. It was a rough day, okay? This is the hardest day we've had since this whole thing began. Christy woke up and had the flu. She'd been sick for a little bit, but it was like full on coughing up blood, bad sickness, like bad news. So we went to the urgent care. I'd say I took her, but she had to drive because I can't drive. And we went to the urgent care, found out she tested positive for the flu. So she's like full on sick. And that's scary because like she's a superhuman mom and takes care of everybody, and superhuman wife and takes care of me right now. And it was kind of scary to have her going down in sickness, but I was feeling, pretty good. And then we went grocery shopping, and I was in the car, and a couple of the kids started screaming. I was doing my best to Dad, but it was just taking everything I had. I can only do one thing a day, and so that was the second thing. And so I was kind of freaked out and felt a little trapped there, but doing my best. And then we went to my doctor's appointment. So we went and saw the radiologist. And may I just remark, by the way, that I'm doing a really good job of keeping a straight line in conversation. I feel good about that. Anyway, we go see the radiologist, and I bring up some of the stuff the chemo doctor said, and I was like, okay, so obviously we're uncomfortable with him, but it also brought up some questions for you, because when we asked him about radiology, he was kind of like, I don't know, I don't do radiology, which is weird because the radiologist had given us a really good overview of chemo, and he'd said, like, I'm not a chemo doctor, and he's going to give you more specific answers, but essentially, he gave us a good overview, but this guy wouldn't cross over at all. So I asked the radiologist, I'm like, okay, number one, are we shrinking this with radiation? Like, it's going to shrink it, right? And number two, can I do radiation without chemo? Because I know the tumor board had recommended both, and we were comfortable until we went and talked to the chemo doctor. And he's like, well, how frank do you want me to be? And I was like, all the way frank. Like, have we not been being all the way frank? And he's like, okay, if you're thinking that we're going to shrink this tumor and you're going to be back to the way that you were 2 years ago, that's not reality. That's not going to happen. The tumor has done irreparable damage to your brain, and we're going to hopefully shrink it some and you'll return some way to normal, but it's not going to be, that's not like, you're not going to be the same way that you were 2 years ago. It's done damage. And here's what I'm concerned about, Matt. The MRI is not the most effective and the best picture in the world of it. And so while it stayed the same on the MRI and it's not growing like at a dangerously fast rate, you come in here every 3 or 4 weeks and describe new symptoms that are in line with a brain tumor growing in this critical part of your brain. And so it is growing. And the next symptoms that could come up is you might come in because you've gone blind. You might come in because you can't move part of your body. Like, this part where it is super dangerous, and we've got to take care of it. We've got to. So yes, we're going to shrink it. No, you won't be back to normal, which is like, that's pretty heavy, right? And then back to your question about, can you do radiation without chemo? Here's the thing. They just finished this study that they took, decades to do. And we didn't have this information 2 or 3 years ago, but essentially they followed the lives of people who did radiation and they followed the lives of people who did radiation and chemo. And the survival rate of those who did radiation and chemo was double that of those who did just radiation. And that was the study he'd told me about before. And I said, well, how is survival rate measured? And that was, he said, a good question. And he said, look, here's the thing. And this is a bell-shaped curve, okay? So the average is, not necessarily what will happen, because, there's some people who might have been in their 90s and people who, not as many people like you who would have been young in this study. But the life expectancy, or the lifespan rather, because this is a full study that, till they died, the lifespan of people who did radiation and chemo, the average was 10 years. And now, again, there might have been people in their 90s who it doubled their life expectancy, from, 6 months to a year, and they would throw the average down, and there may have been younger people who lived a lot longer to throw that off. But that's, people who did radiation and didn't do chemo lasted 5. And so this is the first anyone has talked to me about A, permanent damage, and B, that I have a life expectancy thing to worry about. And like, that's just new news to me. And so that was pretty heavy. It's probably pretty heavy for you right now. And thank you for caring about me. So honestly, like, again, back to my flamboyantly happy self, it didn't really freak me out. It was pretty heavy though, and a lot to take in. And so we said, okay, well, we're not ready to make any decisions today, but we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And so we went back to home to talked about it a little bit, and then Christy had the flu, right? So she's like, okay, I've got to go to the Y and work out. It's what it's like my surf every day for her. It's getting to the Y and taking the kids out. And so she did that, and I took 2 kids. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna dad for a little while. And so I made dinner, and I knew she was feeling under the weather, and I just really wanted to do everything I could. And I made dinner probably for the first time in 2 months, and I had the kids just in front of Thomas, so it wasn't like I wasn't super dadding or anything. They were just watching TV. But I made dinner, and she came home, and was like, I have to go get my prescription, like the CVS is closing, and I can't drive, I can't go do that. And I was like, okay, no problem, drop the kids off. And I had all the kids, and it was going okay, and then they were starting to freak out, just getting loud and boisterous and noisy, and they were just being kids, but there's 6 of them, and that's something that really freaks my brain out, is loud noises or uncontrollable environment. And I just started to lose it, and I recognized that I was losing it. I called Christy and she didn't answer, and that was fine. I recognized that I needed help, so I called a couple from my growth group. Bill and Chris, if you're watching this, man, I love you guys, because they just dropped everything, and they dropped everything and came, and they were there in 5 minutes, and I was in tears and just kind of was like, help, I need help. I'll explain it later, but I need help with the kids right now, and I'm alone. And they are so great, dude. They brought their A game. They are like professional grandparents, right? So they're like, okay, I'll take you 3 and I'm gonna read a book like I wrote the book, and I'm reading it to the like an audience of enthralled 2 and 3-year-olds, and I'm gonna go play a game with the older kids, and it's gonna be the most exciting thing you've ever done. And they just instantly engaged the kids, and Christy kind of came home at the same time, and it allowed her her the space to retreat, and the kids the space to be engaged and not be kind of freaked out. Why is Dad sobbing over there? And so that was the hardest day that I've had since. And then it was all good days. Jesse and Allie, and building a tree house, and sharing meals together and living life all day together. And the surf was polluted. I couldn't surf, but I had my best friends in the world here, and it was so fun. And Christy and I were talking yesterday. It just felt like the simple boat life that we used to live. And before any of this started, it just immediately felt like that. And so Jesse and Ellie, if you're watching this, man, you guys are like the best medicine for my soul. It was so good to have you here. And they're helping me out with some other medication stuff that we're looking into. And so here's where we're at. I need to start treatment. I need to start treatment soon. I'm a little concerned because radiation does lower my immune system, and I don't want the flu. The flu has been bouncing around from kid to kid because it just, we have a big family, and that's just what it is. So we're not going to start this week. This week is the roadkill, bucket list road trip, and this Mustang, I'm gonna, I bought this car as a pile of car out from under a tarp with the engine out of it and all this stuff. We've been working on it for, 6-7 years, and it's finally road ready, and we're gonna take it on the most epic road trip of all time, and me and Kevin are gonna do that. And so that's Friday and Saturday, and my Tucson friends, I'm gonna be in Tucson on Saturday. So if you want to go to the Tucson Dragway anytime on Saturday, it's $15 to get in, and it costs zero money. It's $0 for anybody 12 and under. So my friends who have kids, this might be a really fun thing to do with the kids, and you can come see me in the Mustang in a car show, and I'll give you the biggest hug of your life, tell you I love you, because I get a little sobby and a little emotional around my friends right now. But yeah. Come see me if you're in Tucson, and we're also going to go to church. We're going to be at Desert Sun Community Church on Sunday. I don't know what their services are, but whatever the latest one is, that'll probably be the one we go to. We're going to cruise through Phoenix on Sunday afternoon. I believe that's the 15th, and so we're going to be cruising through Phoenix. I'm going to see my buddy Joey and Zach and Lisa if they're in town, and anybody else who wants to see me, hit me up. Maybe it's possible. I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling at the end of that long weekend, but then we're going to start treatment that next week. And so that's the plan. And that is the update. I'm sorry Chrissy's not here to be here with you. She's taking care of all the kids because I just had to tap out this morning. I'm losing it. And I'm okay. Went and talked to my neighbor for a while. It was good to just have some guy time for a minute. And I've got fun Mustang projects to do. And Christy's feeling better. I took the kids all morning. That's kind of what did me. And I just ran out of brain power. And, it's the weirdest thing ever, because I'm not freaking out or sad because of what's going on or the scary reality. I actually feel fine about that. It's literally like my brain just throwing switches up there. If you can imagine the characters from Inside Out, and they have the control panel that controls everything. It's like they're going berserk up there and throwing all the switches because brain tumor is pushing on them and forcing them onto the panel, I guess would be a way to explain it. And so we're going to start this treatment soon, because I don't want to go blind, dude. Like, I can't do art every day and surf every day and all the things that are keeping me happy and stoked and alive if I can't see or I can't move part of my body. And so we're not delaying. We're going to start next week, and you guys can follow me along on that journey. I know this is a long update video, and it brings up a lot of emotions, and thank you for caring about me, man. It's so awesome. I love you guys. Stay stoked. I'll talk to you later. I wanted to continue the video real quick because I'm feeling a lot better, and I brought in somebody really important. Imperial Vichati! So, I'm excited about that. Love you. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we just watched kind of the part I just filmed, so Christy just saw it for the first time. And
yes.
Yeah, so this will be a little bit less teary, I think, but yeah. Because we actually are feeling really good. It's just that when my brain is freaking out, I just lose it. But we're feeling really good and feeling really optimistic. Like, this is gonna work. We have a good plan for treatment, and
yeah, and I'm mostly over the flu, which is good. I still have this beautiful cough, and Matt let me sleep in like 2 hours today, which was nice. But other than that, I'm getting better and mostly strong again. I did not go work out when I had the flu, but I did take Ryder to his swim lessons and take 4 of the kids with me so they could run around in the child watch. Thank you to all of you who work at the YMCA. You guys are amazing to our family and to our kids. You just really create a nice environment for them to be there, and we really appreciate how friendly you are every time we come in with our crew full of mayhem. So thank you if you work at the YMCA.
Right?
Yes, so all of the times I've disappeared this week has been to get my prescriptions or to get the chaos out of the house. But Matt has pulled a lot more weight this week, and I'm really glad to say that I'm on the upswing and can be, jumping back in to help run things so that he doesn't have to as much.
Yeah, speaking of jumping back in, I think that's been a big breakthrough for us this week is we had so many really months since my seizure of like changes, kids going to grandparents and then switching out to other kids and grandparents coming in and different grandparents coming, all these people helping, which was so helpful and amazing.
And needed at the beginning while we were figuring things out.
But it also meant that every 2 or 3 weeks we were changing our routine dramatically and never getting back to kind of life as normal. And so it seems like I've improved a lot as we've been just kind of our family at home, and the kids have really responded well to like, hey, this is more like life as we know it, which is a little bit good. And so it's nice that we've got enough support to make life as we know it possible. So thank you to kind of our support system in San Diego. And again,
yes, and thank you to those of you guys, who are helping us have help with chores and helping bring in fresh groceries and things that we're used to eating, and just, providing support so that we can live our lives the way that we're kind of used to and develop a workable new routine, but that's still us. So thank you.
Yeah, and even just, we updated the meal train to be more like food like would normally be in our refrigerator, and even just like moving back to that. Like
things that are really good for
it
just
right
helps
now too. Life feel more normal, and it also is really good for my brain to, eat vegetables and fruits. I eat vegetables and fruits now.
Don't tell anyone.
I know, I didn't eat them for 35 years. Maybe that's why I got a brain tumor. I don't know. Yeah, she thinks so who knows. It could have been that or the Coke. That's the drinking kind, not that. Yeah. Okay. So
maybe both.
No, there was no both.
That's right. I'm not going to lay that on too thick.
No. Yeah. So, anyways, we're happy. This is gonna work. We do feel really good about it. So now you know what an emotional breakdown of a brain tumor sufferer looks like. It looks like that. And so if you're a caretaker who's watching these videos, dude, just give as much space as you can to your loved one and just let them know that you're there for them, and also give them the green light to communicate, because I feel so good that I don't have to hide this stuff from Christy. When I was talking with the psychologist at the cancer center, they said that she started to say, well, what usually happens, she said, actually no, she corrected herself, what always happens is that the caretaker tries to protect the patient from what they're going through, and the patient tries to protect the caretaker from what they're going through. And just her saying that to me has really opened up communication between Christy and I, and things have gotten a lot better since I've really just been super open and honest about how I'm feeling and what I need in the moment. And then Christy's been able to be a lot more direct about how certain reactions make her feel and what I could do differently to be more supportive to her and the kids. And it's helped us figure out a routine that works better. I'm more functional in the morning because my brain isn't tired yet, and so I've started giving that to the families. I spend time with the kids in the morning, that way I'm giving them my best, and they've thrived under that, just attention, which has been good for us. And then when I get tired, then I retreat, so rather than kind of retreating in the morning and then trying to give them my worst. And so things like that came out of communication. And so for those who are suffering with stuff like this, communicate. It's key. It's a big deal.
And caretakers, don't be afraid to communicate too, because there's a lot of new things that you're taking in and dealing with, and you have to be able to express how you're feeling too. Even though he's sick, I know that he really wants to know how I'm doing. And so there's times and ways to communicate that, but the only way we'll stay connected is if we're honest with each other both ways. So I'd encourage those of you who are in my role to do the same. The person is sick, but they're not entirely incapacitated and they still love you.
Yeah, and that's
So,
just
be
it.
you.
Like, you love them and you want to do everything you can. What you can do is different, and so it's like knowing what you can do, and then you can figure out how to do it. So that's
Figure
good.
it out together.
I just realized this isn't recording, and then we have to start over.
Yes, it is.
I know, I'm just kidding. I thought I'd get you with that.
No,
Okay, fine.
I've learned that little red light right there is blinking.
Oh, fine. Okay, good. So that's the end of our video. Subscribe if you want to continue to follow this journey. Like it, share
We're
it
very
with people
funny.
that you're going through, that may be going through this or may need to just understand what you're dealing with. But we love you guys. Stay
Bye,
stoked.
Crispy.